Hi there, and welcome back to Margot and me. Day 9 was finally the day of riding. I was really hoping to get to a whole lot on this trip actually. It was sunny, it was warm, a little cool at the start, but it was fine. The roads were dry for most of it. Started the morning off leaving Princeton, watching the mist come off the mountains and the trees from the rain that had been happening the night before. It was just, uh, couldn't have been better. Had a great time. The roads were appropriately twisty and curvy. I was on Crow's Nest Highway in the south of BC, traveled through Manning Park. And the scenery was amazing. The roads were so much fun. It's ranked as one of Canada's most scenic highways. I totally understand why. Had a great time. Almost had the road to myself. A couple of times got stuck in some construction, and behind a big truck. But they had lots of passing lanes, and so that quickly got behind me, and really just enjoyed the road to myself and with Margot, and had a wonderful time. I've been learning a lot about appropriate cornering in curves, trail braking, finding your apex in the corner, looking for the exit point of the corner. A lot from that channel Canyon Chasers. I was really working on that today, and because I was warm and relaxed and able to just go with it, I think I learned a lot of really cool things, put some things into practice. You might be able to see on the video here how I'm tracking from the outside to the inside of the lane around corners and trying to accelerate through the exit point. Lovely day, lovely highway. If you get a chance to ride the Crow's Nest Highway all the way from the Alberta border to Hope, BC, it's fantastic. This first 80% of the ride today was great. Like I said, relaxed, warm. You can see my saddlebag lid flying in the wind there. I forgot to fasten it down. And that's the only frustrating thing today, and more than minorly frustrating. Because it was flapping in the wind, one of the leather straps got shorn off somewhere in the wind, and I've only got 2 straps on that bag now instead of 3. And that's frustrating. Again, lots of curves, lots of twists, and lots of wonderful scenery. As I approached Hope, I pulled off and stopped in at this vista point for the Hope slide. A mountain, whole side of a mountain that let go, I think in the 60s. Boy, I read the sign, but now I can't remember. Sometime in the 60s, this mountain, whole mountainside just let go and created this big jumble of boulders and debris in this valley. Really stunning again to witness that, how far those rocks must have come down, similar to the Frank slide that I saw a few days ago. Got back on the road, went through Hope, and ended up on Highway number 1, north of Hope, toward Cache Creek, where I spent the night. The scenery on this road was equally as stunning as Highway 3. Majestic mountains, wonderful skies, and really enjoyed this ride. Twisty, curvy, and there must have been 10 tunnels on this road. I lost count at some point, and really enjoyed that. And boys will be boys. The best part of the tunnel was being able to give some space between me and the car in front of me so I could accelerate real hard at the end and crank that throttle and hear the boom of the exhaust in those tunnels. Boys never grow up, I guess. Carried on this road for quite some time, following the Fraser River, and just really relaxed, just totally in the moment. what I was missing on a few of the other days before this, but what I finally found on this ride, I'm hoping for a lot more of that. As I carried on this road, we finally crossed the Fraser River. If you look to the left, you can't quite see it from this viewpoint, but there was Hell's Gate, where I stopped for an hour and a half, couple hours, and looked around there. What a stunning place this is. Hell's Gate is a really fascinating part of the history of the Fraser Valley. This Fraser Canyon here really is what it turns into. There's a tram that takes you down from the top down to this station below where you can look around. This is the narrowest part of the Fraser River, so all the water gets forced through this narrow little gap. And because of that, it gets super deep. Right now it's 136 feet, I think. It's been up to 200 feet deep, and pours more water through there than go over Niagara Falls at any one given moment. This is also a place where salmon find their way, are having trouble finding their way to spawn, their spawning grounds. So they had, when one of the railroads came by and built its track through here, it blasted part of the mountain away and dumped a bunch of debris into the river, making it even impossible for the salmon to get where they wanted to go. Apparently they were battering themselves to death on the rocks that they couldn't climb over. So they built these salmon runs, these ladders to help the salmon move their way through this particular spot of the river. Majestic, almost terrifying in some way, watching this river and the turbulence that it causes. I pretty much had this whole place to myself. I walked in, bought a ticket, and they said, all right, shuttle's ready for you. And I got personalized service on the way down and again on the way back up. Maybe it was 3 other people there, which is just surprising to me at the peak of tourist season here. The suspension bridge at the bottom, which was really cool to walk over. Again, a little bit, I made my knees a little weak walking over there, and you can look right through the deck of the bridge and see all this water. I think 220 million gallons of water per minute pouring through here. You can see the salmon run up on the right side, one of the salmon runs. There's another one on the left side behind that notch in the river wall there. But the turbulence, they tried to navigate this many times. Apparently one steam wheeler did make it through here. I can't imagine even being willing to try that. Braver people than me. Super nice day, incredible scenery. And nice to get off the bike for a few minutes and rest the backside. Enjoy a little bit of local history. If you haven't been to Hell's Gate, I'd highly recommend it. Now, the ride down was impressive enough. The ride up might have been even more so, as this tram makes its way across this river. Got a good view of the salmon run there. Across the river. We're going to go right over top of it. The other thing that was impressive were the train tracks that moved through here. There's one on either side, I'm assuming from both of Canada's major rail companies. There's a tunnel that one of them moves through. That must have been quite the feat, carving that path for the tracks through these mountains. And then up from there. Just hoping that the cables held the whole time. So after I got to the top, I packed up and carried on north. Found a few drivers that seemed to be frustrated that there were motorcycles on the road, or at least my motorcycle. I've got some video of it. I don't know if I'll show it, but got to a passing lane, and just as we hit there, the car in front of me that I was clearly going faster than started to move over to the right to allow me to use the passing lane, and as soon as I accelerated, they jerked back over and blocked me. It's this car right there. Not sure exactly what they were trying to do, but another lesson that just keep your head up as a rider and assume that people are going to be frustrated with motorcycles, and not take it personally, but to ride in a way that keeps you safe and gets you home. The end of the ride, the last 10, 15, 20% of my day was through landscape like this, passed by Lytton, which was destroyed by fire a few years back. It was terrible to see. And then into this high desert up in Cache Creek. Spent the night here getting ready right now this morning as I speak to pack my bags, head down to Kelowna, drop off Margot at the dealership to get an oil change and a service check. I'm going to spend some time tonight with one of my cousins and his wife, which invitation that kind of came out of the blue. Really looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to seeing you the next time around.